Hi guys, and welcome back to Glenda Sully's Kitchen. It feels so good to be in the kitchen cooking. I just love to cook. It's one of my favorite hobbies and a necessity also because you got to eat, right? So I am cooking me up a big old pot of soup beans. Now when I was living in Louisiana, these were just called red beans and rice, and we would cook them on Mondays because Monday down in Louisiana is laundry day, and we would just put our pot of beans on early in the morning and just let them simmer on the stove all day long while we did our laundry. But when we moved to Knoxville, Tennessee, I saw that they were prepared differently, and in that part of the country, y'all call them soup beans, don't you? And you just eat them right out of the bowl with some grated up or chopped up onions on top. So that's what I'm going to do with this big old pot of red beans. So let's get busy. So I went ahead and prepared everything a little bit ahead of time. I even got my beans going. I didn't put a whole lot of water in them. You can see I just barely covered them because I'm going to add 1 can of chicken broth. I have it right here. And then I'll just go ahead and add a can of water to that also. I'm going to use my filtered water. Don't want any chlorine in my beans now, do I? Okay, so we added 1 can of water. It's probably not going to take much more than that because I am using up some more of my ham, my donated ham, y'all. So we're going to add the Trinity, which is two stalks of celery chopped. So let's get the Trinity. Number 1 of the Trinity. The second part of the Trinity is chopped green pepper. Add that. And then the third and last but not the least is the chopped onion. And I only chopped 1/2 of an onion because it's very big, and then I'm going to leave the other half to chop to eat on top of the soup beans. When we moved to Tennessee, I thought that was so odd that y'all don't eat your beans over rice. And you can saute these in a little bacon grease or whatever, but I like just putting them in the pot and just letting it cook all day long and simmer nice and slow, and that eliminates another step just by letting it cook in here. And they will cook. They will get nice and tender and lovely. So I like a little heat in mine, so I have 1/2 of a jalapeno pepper diced up. And then the poke is, of course, the garlic. I have about 4 cloves of diced garlic. I leave my garlic kind of big on account of that I love it. So this should start boiling pretty soon. So let me go ahead and just kind of chunk this ham. Now, I'm going to start out with not adding any salt into the beans because this ham is very, very salty. And I put that can of chicken stock in there. It's also salty. And I don't want to get them too salty. You can always add more, but you can't take any out, right? So that should be enough ham. I'll freeze this, put that back in the freezer and save it for another dish. I think I'll make a playlist just for all the dishes that I'm making out of that donated ham. Well, I better add, I don't know if I should add salt or not. Let me taste. Let me get a little tiny taste. See if this broth tastes salty. Not salty at all. Okay, I'm going to add probably about 1/2 teaspoon. Okay, and then I'm going to add my black pepper. Start with about 1/8 of a teaspoon of the black pepper. I'm sure I'll be adding more because I love black pepper. And to add a little more heat, I'm going to add more red pepper flakes. Just a tiny bit more. a little Cholula to season it up a little bit. I love these little wooden tops. Every time I unscrew it, my brain is turning, thinking about what could I, if I save those, what kind of craft project could I make with them? I'm sure I could think of something. And then my secret ingredient, Lee and Perrins Worcestershire sauce. Just put a generous shake of that in there. So I'm going to let these cook about 2 or 3 hours. And then I'll come back and, well, I'll be checking on them intermittently just to make sure that there's enough water. But you can see I have about 1 inch left to the top. And I'm sure as the water and the broth cooks out, more water will be cooking into it from all the water in this ham. So we will be back, and then I will show y'all how they're coming along. Okay, guys, I know this was supposed to be soup beans, but I just had to make me some rice to go in with them. So I have my red beans and rice and my chow-chow from Ricky down in Franklin, Tennessee, and my French bread, and I'm going to enjoy this wonderful meal. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that you will make this recipe and enjoy these beans. Bye guys, and y'all please just keep on coming back.